Stop now, not later, not tomorrow, now. I know that you are tired, I know that your day was heavy, but this message did not reach you by chance. If you are watching this before sleeping, pay close attention. God has something urgent to tell you. And if you ignore it today, it may be that tomorrow this clarity will no longer be there. Stay with me until the end, because what you will hear here can change the direction of your life. If you feel deep in your chest that this moment is important, write Amen in the comments right now. I need to ask you a question, and I want you to be honest with yourself. How many times in the last months have you felt that something was wrong, but could not explain what? How many times did you lie in bed at night, looked at the ceiling and felt a void that no distraction could fill? You work, pay the bills, take care of the family, do everything you need to do. But when you stop, even if for 5 minutes, that restlessness comes, that tightness in the chest, that sensation that you are living on automatic, only surviving without truly living. It is not frivolity. It is not ingratitude. And no, you are not going crazy. What you feel is your spirit crying for help. It is your soul saying it needs to be fed, because the body can endure years on autopilot. But the soul cannot. That was why I prepared the powerful digital book for you, called How to Know If God Will Save You in the Final Judgment. This material was made for those who are at the exact moment in which heaven reveals what was hidden and the occult movements come to light. Inside it are truths that function as spiritual lenses, allowing you to see what previously passed unnoticed. You will understand why certain blockages existed, why certain people had so much power over your energy, and how to position yourself so that this never happens again. People who accessed it told me that for the first time, they felt that the invisible chains were broken, that a clarity took hold of everything. The link is in the description of the video and pinned at the top of the comments. If something inside you confirms that this is for you, do not delay. Access now. And the most dangerous thing is that we get used to it. We get used to the empty routine. We get used to pretending that everything is fine. We get used to pushing the truth with the belly, thinking, later I will resolve it. Later I will stop to think. Later I will seek God for real. But the later turns into weeks. The weeks turn into months. The months turn into years. And when you realize it, 5-10 years have already passed living by half. I ask you, how much longer will you wait? Pay attention to what I am going to tell you now, because this will move you. Spiritual time does not function like the clock on the wall. It is not measured in hours or minutes. Spiritual time is measured in windows. Windows of clarity, of sensitivity, of openness. There are moments in life when your heart is soft, receptive, ready to hear the truth. And there are other moments when the same words pass by you and cause nothing. No shiver, no emotion, no reaction. Do you know what changes? It is not the message, it is the state of your heart. And now, at this exact moment, your heart is open. I know this because you are still here. You did not skip the video. You did not leave. Something inside you said, wait, this is for me. This something is the Holy Spirit holding you, preventing you from fleeing once more. If you recognize this, subscribe to the channel now and activate the bell, because each time you return to this type of content, you are choosing to stay under this spiritual covering. Now come with me, because we need to go deeper. There exists a dangerous pattern that most people do not perceive. It is the pattern of turning one's back to the truth, not with rebellion, not with anger, but with postponement. You do not turn your back all at once. You turn little by little. A prayer you stopped saying, a reflection you postponed, a conviction you felt in your chest, but let pass because it was not the right moment. And each time you do this, the door closes a little bit. Not because God removes access, but because your heart goes on hardening. The sensitivity diminishes. That which before made you cry, today no longer does anything to you. That which before bothered you, today you accept as normal. And the most frightening thing is that this change happens in silence. You do not even perceive that you are becoming distant. Do you know what is worse? You know this. Deep down you know. There is a voice in there that pokes you from time to time, generally in the early hours of the morning when the noise of the day stops, or in the middle of traffic when you are alone in the car, or on that Sunday afternoon when the house becomes quiet and that melancholy hits, which you do not know where it comes from. This voice is not anxiety. It is not depression. It is the Holy Spirit trying to reach you. And each time you ignore it, it speaks a little lower, until one day, if you do not take care, it stops speaking. I will give you a practical example. Think of that person you know, perhaps it is even yourself, who one day was full of faith, prayed with fervor, felt the presence of God in everything. But life became busy. Work consumed the time. Concerns with money, with health, with children were taking up space, and gradually, almost without perceiving, the spiritual life was dying. It did not die all at once. It died of starvation, of lack of nourishment. This is what happens with millions of Brazilians above 35 years of age, people who grew up with faith, who learned to pray with their grandmother, who went to church in childhood, but who today live so overburdened that they can barely stop 5 minutes to talk with God. And then the question arises, could it be that all this tiredness is only of the body, or could it be that the soul is also exhausted? I tell you with all sincerity, the greater part of the tiredness you feel is not physical, it is spiritual. You can sleep 8 hours, 10 hours, and still wake up exhausted. Do you know why? Because what is exhausted is not your body, it is your spirit carrying a weight that was not made to be carried alone. Now, before continuing, I need to ask you one thing. This content takes time to be produced. If it is touching you, if something in here made sense to you, leave your like. It may seem like little, but each like helps this video to reach more people who need to hear exactly this. It is a simple way of planting a seed. Returning. I want to speak now about something that almost no one has the courage to admit. Many people confuse numbness with peace. Read it again. Numbness is not peace. When you are numb, nothing affects you much, neither sadness nor joy. You go on leading life in the whatever. You watch, scroll the cell phone, sleep, wake up, work, repeat. You do not feel intense pain, but you also do not feel true happiness, and you call this being well. But being truly well is different. To be at peace is to feel. It is to cry when you need to cry. It is to laugh for real, from inside. It is to be moved by a sunset, by the laughter of a grandchild, by a song that reminds you of who you were before closing yourself to the world. Peace is presence. Numbness is absence, and many people are living absent from their own lives. Perhaps you are asking yourself, but how did I get here? When was it that I lost myself? And the answer is simpler than it seems. You did not lose yourself all at once. You lost yourself a little bit per day, a decision to avoid, an ignored feeling, a swallowed truth. Small escapes that added up created an enormous distance between who you are and who you were called to be. I know it hurts to hear this, but the truth needs to hurt before it heals. When you stay in the dark for a long time, the first light in the eyes stings. It bothers. It makes you want to close your eyes again. But if you endure this initial discomfort, gradually the vision clears, and you begin to see things that were hidden, patterns that bound you, fears that made decisions for you, habits that killed your soul in silence. I am not here to accuse you. I am here to invite you. There is an enormous difference between the two things. Accusation looks back and points the finger. The invitation looks forward and extends the hand. I am extending the hand to you now. Let me tell you something that perhaps no one has told you. You do not need to resolve everything today. You do not need to change your whole life in one night. What you need, what God is asking of you, is that you stop fleeing. Only that. Stop distracting yourself. Stop pushing to tomorrow. Stop hiding behind the noise, the rush, the obligations. God is not asking you for perfection. He is asking you for presence. Do you know what is the greatest fear of those who distance themselves from God? It is not the fear of God. It is the fear of what they will find when they look inside. It is the fear of seeing how much stuff has accumulated, how many untreated wounds, how many wrong decisions, how much wasted life. And I will tell you something that perhaps will surprise you. This fear is normal. It is human. Looking inside causes fear because we know we will find things we preferred to ignore. That rancor you carry from someone who hurt you, that guilt for something you did and never resolved, that grief you did not live because you needed to be strong for the family. that anger at yourself for having let so much time pass. In Brazil, we learn from early on to swallow things. A man does not cry. A woman has to manage. Life is just like that. We endure. And we endure. We endure so much that one day we forget it was not meant to be like this. We forget that feeling is not weakness. We forget that crying is not surrendering. We forget that asking for help is, in truth, the most courageous act a human being can have. But I tell you, God already knows all of this. He saw each day, each night, each tear you swallowed, each time you wanted to ask for help but kept silent. He knows. And even so, even knowing everything, He is here today, calling your name. This is not religion. It is not doctrine. It is not a rule. It is love. It is the type of love that does not give up, that does not tire, that seeks you even when you flee, that waits for you even when you delay. If this is making sense to you, write in the comments, "I choose to stop fleeing." It may seem like just a phrase, but when you declare out loud, or in writing, that you have made a decision, something changes in the spiritual world. You are planting a stake in the ground and saying, "From here I do not go back anymore." Now I want to speak about a practical thing that most spiritual videos do not speak of. There exist signs that your soul is exhausted, and they are very similar to the symptoms the body gives when it is sick. When the body is unwell, it gives fever, pain, tiredness. When the soul is unwell, it also screams, only in another way. The first sign is constant irritability. Everything irritates you. The traffic, the line, the co-worker, the spouse, things that before you took in stride now make you lose your temper. This is not bad mood. It is the overburdened soul overflowing through the wrong side. The second sign is the lack of purpose. You wake up and do not know for what. You work but do not feel that it makes a difference. You live but do not feel that you are building anything. It is as if the days were all the same, a repetition without meaning. The third sign is emotional isolation. You can be surrounded by people and still feel completely alone. You cannot truly connect with anyone. You talk, laugh, participate, but inside you are in a place that no one can reach. The fourth sign, and perhaps the most dangerous, is spiritual indifference. When someone speaks of God, you no longer feel anything, neither faith nor doubt, only nothing. And this nothing is the most grave sign of all, because it means the connection is almost cut. And there is a fifth sign that few people speak of, but that I need to mention: the sensation that you are late in life. You look to the sides, and it seems that everyone found a path, a mission, a peace. And you? You keep asking yourself, when will it be my turn? What am I doing wrong? But the truth is that you are not late. You are stopped, and there exists an enormous difference. He who is late at least is walking. He who is stopped needs to make the decision to take the first step. And this first step is not changing jobs, city, or relationship. The first step is returning to God. That was why I prepared the powerful digital book for you, called How to Know If God Will Save You in the Final Judgment. This material was made for those who are at the exact moment in which heaven reveals what was hidden and the occult movements come to light. Inside it are truths that function as spiritual lenses, allowing you to see what previously passed unnoticed. You will understand why certain blockages existed, why certain people had so much power over your energy, and how to position yourself so that this never happens again. People who accessed it told me that for the first time, they felt that the invisible chains were broken, that a clarity took hold of everything. The link is in the description of the video and pinned at the top of the comments. If something inside you confirms that this is for you, do not delay. Access now. We have a very strong culture of resolving everything alone. God helps those who rise early. I manage. I can handle it. This mentality of a warrior, of a fighter, which is beautiful on one side, on the other, prevents you from asking for help. It prevents you from admitting that you are not managing. It prevents you from kneeling and saying, "Lord, I need thee." Because in the head of the strong Brazilian, asking for help is weakness. But I tell you, the greatest demonstration of strength that exists is a man or a woman on their knees before God telling the truth. If you recognized yourself in two or more of these signs, I need you to understand one thing. This is not the end. It is the beginning. The fact that you are here, hearing this, feeling something, anything, means that the door is still open. There is still time. But, and here comes the difficult part, the time of this window is limited. I am not speaking of the end of the world. I am speaking of the sensitivity of the heart. The more time you ignore these signs, the more difficult it becomes to feel again. It is like a muscle that atrophies for lack of use. Can it be recovered? It can. But the more time passes, the more effort it will need. It is for this reason that God is speaking with you today, not tomorrow. Today. Because today your heart still hears. Today the truth still touches you. Today you still manage to feel that tightness in the chest that says, "This is for me." And I need to be very direct with you here. Tomorrow is the most effective weapon that the enemy uses against you. He does not need to make you sin. He does not need to make you abandon the faith with a scandal. He only needs to convince you that tomorrow is better, that tomorrow you will be more prepared, that tomorrow the situation will be calmer, and thus, from tomorrow to tomorrow, the entire life goes on passing. And that transformation that God wanted to do in you remains eternally postponed. Think with me. How many good things did you lose in life because you left them for later? That course you were going to take, that apology you were going to give, that difficult conversation you needed to have. The later robbed you more than any declared enemy, because the later comes disguised as prudence. It comes dressed as reason. But deep down, it is only fear with another name. God does not operate in the later. God operates in the now. Each encounter he has with a human being in the Bible happens in the present. Today, salvation has entered this house. Today, thou shalt be with me in paradise. If today ye hear his voice, harden not your hearts. Always today, always now, because God knows that tomorrow is a promise that life does not guarantee you. I am going to ask you one thing now, and it is simple. Before finishing your day, before sleeping, before taking the cell phone again, before turning on the television, close your eyes for 1 minute. Only 1 minute. And say, even if only in thought, God, I am here. I stopped running. Do what needs to be done in my heart. You do not need beautiful words. You do not need eloquence. God is not evaluating your prayer. He is waiting for your presence. Let me tell you something that will surprise you. Do you think you found this video by chance? That of all the videos that appeared on your screen today, this one specifically fell in front of you? There is no chance in the spiritual world. Each step you took, each pause, each postponement, each time you almost stopped to listen but did not stop, brought you here. This moment is the result of a search that was not yours. It was of God seeking you. I know that part of you wants to leave now, wants to close the video, wants to say, later I will see. This impulse, this will to flee, is not yours. It is fear trying to protect you from something it cannot control, transformation. Fear wants you to continue the same, because the same is predictable, the same is safe, but the same is also dead inside. Choosing to stay in this moment, choosing to listen until the end, is an act of silent courage. It is not the courage that screams. It is the courage that sustains, that breathes deep and says, I can endure this truth. If you reach this point, I want to tell you one thing from the heart. I admire you, seriously. Because in a world that does everything to distract you, to anesthetize you, to keep you entertained and empty, you chose to stop. You chose to listen. And that is already a victory. Now, before closing, I want to leave 3 simple commitments for you to take from this video to your real life, and they are not difficult commitments. I am not going to ask you to change everything from night to day. I am going to ask you 3 small things that, if you do them for real, will begin to open cracks in the wall that you built around your heart. First, stop postponing your spiritual life. Do not wait to be ready. Do not wait for the perfect moment. Do you know why? Because the perfect moment does not exist. Do you know how many people I know who spent their entire lives waiting for the right moment to seek God? And when they finally decided, they had already lost years. Years of peace they could have had. Years of direction they could have received. Years of healing they could have lived. Start today the way you can. A prayer. A reading. 5 minutes of silence with God. Start. It does not need to be beautiful. It needs to be real. Second, Be honest with yourself. Stop pretending that everything is fine when it is not. We live in a society that prizes the mask. You go to work smiling, post photos on social networks, answer, "I'm fine," to everyone. But inside you are crumbling. Tell the truth, to yourself and to God. You do not need to tell everyone, but you need to tell Him. Healing does not start with perfection, it starts with honesty. And God is not frightened by your mess. He is saddened when you pretend the mess does not exist. Third, do not isolate yourself. The enemy of your soul wants to see you alone, wants to convince you that no one understands, that no one cares, that you are a lost case. Lie. Share this video with someone you know needs to hear this. It can be a friend, a relative, someone who is distant. When you extend your hand to someone, your own healing is strengthened. When you bless, you are blessed. It is not a magic formula. It is spiritual law. That was why I prepared the powerful digital book for you, called How to Know If God Will Save You in the Final Judgment. This material was made for those who are at the exact moment in which heaven reveals what was hidden and the occult movements come to light. Inside it are truths that function as spiritual lenses, allowing you to see what previously passed unnoticed. You will understand why certain blockages existed, why certain people had so much power over your energy, and how to position yourself so that this never happens again. People who accessed it told me that for the first time, they felt that the invisible chains were broken, that a clarity took hold of everything. The link is in the description of the video and pinned at the top of the comments. If something inside you confirms that this is for you, do not delay. Access now. And I want to tell you one more thing before the end. Perhaps you are thinking, but I already tried to return to God before. I already tried to change, and I did not succeed. I know that you already tried, and I know that the frustration of not having succeeded weighs more than the will to try again. But listen to me, each attempt you made was not in vain. Each time you tried, even if you fell again, something changed inside you. A seed was planted, a root was created. You are not starting from zero. You are continuing from where you stopped. God does not count your falls. He counts the times you got up. And the simple fact that you are here now hearing this is proof that you still have not given up. Even if you think you gave up. Even if you feel you gave up. Your spirit knows the truth. You are still standing. Staggering perhaps, tired certainly, but standing. I will close with this. God is telling you now in this exact second, my son, my daughter, I am not tired of you. I have not given up on you. I am not going away. But I need you to stop running. I need you to look at me. I need you to let me enter the places you locked, in the places that hurt, in the places you hid even from yourself, because it is there that I want to heal. There is no darkness too great for God. There is no sin too heavy. There is no distance too long. What exists is an open door, and now, and God is asking you with love and with urgency, enter, before the day ends. Enter. If this video touched you, comment down here, mine, I entered. It may be the most important declaration of your week. Leave the like, subscribe, activate the bell, and share with someone who needs this word today. Sometimes the chain that changes a person's life starts with a simple gesture of sending a video. I see you in the next one. And remember, God brought you here. Do not leave without taking the healing He prepared for you. May the peace that exceeds all understanding guard your heart and your mind. Amen.